lightweight and ultra lightweight racers. The first over 4, the second over 3, and just to re-emphasise, no compulsory pit stop for the ultra lightweights this time around. But the Spaniard is staring down Glencrutchery Road with less than 10 seconds, just gets that little signal on the start line. The hand now goes on the shoulder. He's waiting for the tap, which will come right now as the flag is waved rather than dropped on this occasion. A bit sluggishly away, just feeling his way on the bike, but certainly wasn't a speedy start there. But here's Andrew Farrell, and now we've got that lovely 250, the Wobbly Bob Racing Yamaha of Gary Vines. Finally getting through into the gears there, just had a bit of trouble engaging as Brad Vickers is safely away. Next will be David Lumsden. Speedy start there from Lumsden. Then we've got Gareth Evans away. Through the box and heading to St Ninian's Crossroads and then down Bray Hill. Nobody at 7. So next away will be the Fingal Motor Club Kawasaki of Dave Butler, number 8. And now the Mark Coverdale pattern of James Chalk at 9. Beautiful sounds as it heads down Glencrutchery Road. No number 10 there, so no Ryan Marr. So next away will be Leon Murphy, number 11. And the Team York Suzuki next of number 12, Roger Wibberley. Great to hear from him earlier about all the work he does as a ride and liaison officer with the newcomers here at the Manx Grand Prix. Gaps at 13 and 14, and now the man who's been moved up on the Slide Sports Race Engineering Suzuki, number 15, Jamie Edwards, will be the next to get that tap on the shoulder right now. Let's listen to him away. 16 away next is Stephen Horn. '17 is Richard Stubbs off the line. And then the Olive Bullock Scholarship recipient on the Kawasaki, David Quine. No one at 19, so next away on the Ray Racing Kawasaki will be Nigel Ray. He's waiting for the flag to drop and that tap on the shoulder, which comes now as he stares down Glencrutchery Road. Yamaha power now for James Hine, number 49. '52, one of our winners at this year's Manx, Michael Rees. I can tell you that Victor Lopez Santos has retired, unfortunately, at Quarterbridge. Victor Lopez Santos is a retirement at Quarterbridge. 46 away now, that is Barry Sheehan. Izad Racing Suzuki of 21, Keith Clark now. '24, Richard Saville is next away on the all-yellow fared bike with the black leathers. 48 is Paul O'Rourke, another of our newcomers. Suzuki next of Daniel Kappa, number 50. 45 away, Daniel Fernandez. Colombian friend away. 28 is Trevor Matthewson. And 40 on the Belighting Suzuki is Paul Wardell. Let's go to Dave Christian at Glen Helen.
Yes, thanks, Tim. First man on the road should be winging his way up here very, very shortly now through the Laurel Bank section and then onwards past Glenmore and the Black Dub. And got engine noise, as always. You hear it coming up the valley. It bounces off the sides of the rock and in through the trees. First man on the road, flicks to the right, down the box, into the left-hander. That's Andy Farrell, little mid-corner wobble there, but no dramas though. He's safely through on his opening lap, but it looks like he's being caught by Gary Vines. Indeed he is. That gap looked less than 10 seconds, and it certainly was. Gary Vines has an early lead here at Glen Helen on lap 1, and with Victor Lopez retiring, that's given these two, Vines and Farrell, an opportunity to have a battle. But here's another two on the road, and 4 and 5 together, and 5 is ahead of 4 on corrected time. 5 Dave Lumsden, 4 Brad Vickers, and it is Gary Vines still who has the lead, with Dave Lumsden moving to second place, just 0.2 of a second slower than Gary Vines. So the hammer has got the hammer down this morning. That's 6 through now. Gareth Evans, he's fractionally quicker than Brad Vickers, but nothing too much in that. Next man in now is 8. That is Dave Butler, and Butler takes the lead. Butler takes the lead on the opening lap here at Glen Helen. And there's the pattern of James Chalk. Butler had the lead, but he only had it for 9 seconds, because that's how long it took James Chalk to come up behind him. James Chalk, number 9, with the lead at Glen Helen on lap 1. He leads number 8, Dave Butler, by 1 second. That's a 1 second gap for James Chalk over Dave Butler, with Gary Vines third. He's a second back on Butler, and in 4th place at the moment, number 5, Dave Lumsden. He is just 2 seconds down on Gary Vines. So that lead chopped and changed there as they came through on their opening lap. And it is James Chalk with the pattern, has the early advantage. Whether or not he'll hold that remains to be seen. It's very early days in this 4-lap race. 11 comes through, Leon Murphy. Murphy a little bit off the pace of the front runners at the moment, but we have 1, 2, 3, about 3.5 seconds separating the top 5, so it is really, really tight. That's 12, Roger Wibley, nice and steady from Roger, holding 9th position so far, but it is Chalk who leads Butler on lap 1, just by a single second. Number 9 leads number 8, with Gary Vines, number 3 on that beautiful TZ Yamaha, in 3rd place. 15 comes through now, that's Jamie Edwards. He's up the batting order a little bit. He started in 10th place, and he's made his way to 8th. So 2 places for Jamie Edwards in the opening stages. 16 through now, Stephen Horn. And Stephen Horn, again, quicker than the 2 guys who started ahead of him, Leon Murphy and Roger Wibley. Another man tips into the left-hander, purple and grey bike. That is number 18, Dave Quine, just through, and 17 on the purple bike there is Richard Stubbs. David Quine makes some inroads as well. David Quine started, I think, 12th or 13th position, and he is now up ahead to 8th. Dave Quine, 8th place, number 18, so he's one of the early movers in this 4-lap race, and has muscled his way into the top 10. It is, though, only very early days. It's the opening sector. It's only 9 and a bit miles from the grandstand out to here, and there's plenty of empty track ahead where all these positions can change. 52 and 49 through together. 52, Michael Rees has had a flyer, 7th quickest for Mike Rees on the opening lap, as Andy Farrell now makes Ballaugh Bridge. And the other rider through there was 49, James Hind. They've both gone really well in qualifying. Gary Vines now through Ballaugh as well. And 46 comes through, that's Barry Sheehan. Another good solid start from Barry Sheehan. He's up to 13th, with James Hind 14th. So some of the movers and shakers coming from a bit further down the batting order. Number 52, Michael Rees, keep your eyes out for him. 7th place he is currently holding. And now we have another 2 riders coming into the left-hander. 24 and 21, Richard Saville and Keith Clark, both rode safely through on their opening laps for not threatening the top end of the leaderboard. 48 now also through Paul O'Rourke. Just 16th position for Paul O'Rourke, but it's Michael Rees is the big mover, number 52. And Mike Rees started in 22nd position. He's up to 7th on his opening lap. That is 50 through Daniel Kappa. Good solid start from Daniel Kappa, but again not threatening the top end. As 45 comes through now, 45 Daniel Fernandez. Closely followed on the road by 28, which is Trevor Matthewson. And Matthewson ahead of Fernandez on corrected time. Trevor Matthewson just into the top 15, holding a 15th position currently. 40 through, that's Paul Wardell, just outside the top 15. Two more together on the road, 32 and 42. 32 is Ali Foster, 42 is Peter Moore. So Team Moot Racing safely through here on the opening lap. Peter Moore just 10th position, so a great start again from Peter Moore. He went well in the early race, he's going well in this one. But your leader at Glen Helen on lap 1 is James Chalk. Number 9 leads number 8 Dave Butler by a second, and in third place making up your top 3 it's number 3 Gary Vines, who is just 1 second back on Dave Butler. Back to you at the grandstand.
Visit Quayside Tyres' new state-of-the-art facility on South Quay for servicing and repair. With the latest dealer-level diagnostics and trained technicians, your vehicle is in good hands. Quayside are the island's biggest alloy wheel dealer. Spread the cost with one of our finance packages, subject to status. We're driven to perform with Toyo Tyres, the island's exclusive platinum partner. Make your car the star. Quayside Tyre and Service, South Quay.
South Quay Douglas, don't delay, have safer tyres today. Quayside!
Would owners of domestic animals and livestock adjoining the TT course please ensure that they are secure during the practice and race periods.
Next Radio TT.
Number 20, Nigel Ray, a retirement at the Highlander, perfectly okay. Additional non-starters, 38, Garth Woods, 37, Robert Nelson, and 43, Martin Currams. And that lovely pattern of James Chalk, quickest through the Sulby Speed Trap at 150.5 miles per hour. We're pretty much on that Rob Hodson lap record pace from a standing start, with the early time checks we've had at Glen Helen and Ballath Bridge. Chalk leads at Ballath Bridge by nearly 4 seconds ahead of number 8, Dave Butler. Number 3, Gary Vines, is in third. He's 1.7 down on Butler. A further 2.6 down on Vines is David Lumsden in fourth. Fifth is number 2, Andrew Farrell. And I can tell you, Michael Rees is still, has just dropped to 8th position. Let's go to Chris Cave at Ramsey Hairpin.
Well, the early pace setter then in this race is James Chalk. He's just beginning to spread his wings a bit and stretch that lead. It's now around 4 seconds ahead of Dave Butler, or it was at Ballath Bridge, as the spectators get their first glimpse of a competitor on the final day of racing here at the 2018 Festival of Motorcycling. It is Andrew Farrell, followed quickly by number 3, Gary Vines, who's about 3 seconds ahead of him. Listen to that bike from Gary Vines as he goes round. And Gary Vines with a bit of a point to prove, because he was among in the mix to get a podium finish in the lightweight race on Wednesday, but he had to retire early, and he was in the top 3 positions. What can he do today? Well, he's leading as it stands at Ramsey Hairpin, 3.14 seconds ahead of Andrew Farrell. Next into sight is David Lumsden, and Lumsden goes round, and he is 2.5 seconds down on Andrew Farrell. Brad Vickers is some way off the pace here early on lap 1 of this lightweight race, and he's number 4, and he's coming round Ramsey Hairpin now, safely through and on towards Waterworks. And next interview is number 8, and number 8 is Dave Butler. It's a good job his transponder is working today, because he is leading as it stands ahead of Gary Vines, but only just as number 6, Gareth Evans, is next round. He has a little look behind him and he's away. So as it stands, Dave Butler leads, but by a fraction. He's 0.19 seconds ahead of Gary Vines, who in turn is 3 seconds up on Andrew Farrell. So it's Butler, Vines, Farrell. But next, we haven't seen James Chalk yet. He's due in soon. I think this is James Chalk. And indeed, number 9, James Chalk through, but he's lost a bit of time. So what's gone on with James Chalk? He's 20 seconds down on David Lumsden. And that after having an early lead. He was 4 seconds in front of Dave Butler at Ballaugh Bridge, but now he's 20 seconds down on 4th place David Lumsden. So what has gone on with the bike of James Chalk? Is it a mechanical problem? Where has he lost that time? Dave Butler leads ahead of Gary Vines. Number 3, Gary Vines in 2nd place, 0.19 seconds down on Dave Butler. There's very little in this, but the early pace setter James Chalk has fallen away. So questions will be asked about what has gone on there. Dave Butler, he was in 2nd place at Ballaugh Bridge, 4 seconds behind James Chalk, but he now leads. So Butler, Vines, Farrell, that's your top 3. David Lumsden is in 4th. And there's only about 5 seconds between the top 4. Number 11 is the next man through, Leon Murphy, but we'll hand back to Dave Christian at Glen Helen.
Yeah, thanks, Chris. We've got the first 7, now going to be shortly 8 through in the ultra lightweight class. We can tell you that leading at the ultras at the moment, number 59, Darryl Tweed. He leads as number 60, Steve Moody, by 7 seconds at Glen Helen on lap 1. In 3rd place, number 61, Mike Carter. He's 4 seconds back on Moody. In 4th place, number 64, Alex Sinclair. He's a second back on Carter. In 5th, number 67, Daniel Ingham. He's a second back on Sinclair. In 6th place, number 66, all the 6s for Andy Cowie. He is 0.2 of a second slower than Ingham. In 7th, number 65, Tom Snow. He is just 1/10 of a second down on Cowie. I thought those two would be close. In 8th, number 72, Nigel Moore. He's 4 seconds down on Snow. In 9th, number 62, Carsten Svensson. He is 5 seconds down on Nigel Moore. Your top 10, and making up 10th place, number 73, Derek Wilkie. He's half of a second down on Carsten Svensson. Back to Chris at Ramsey.
Well, thank you very much, Dave. And the story here is James Chalk has fallen away. He was the early pace setter, but now he's drifted back into 5th position as it stands, 20 seconds behind David Lumsden in 4th place, as a couple more bikes come through, number 52 and number 49. That's Michael Rees and James Hine. But we will go back to you, Dave Christian.
Yeah, just hearing that James Chalk pulled in at Sulby Bridge to make some adjustments, but has managed to get going again, which accounts for that 20-second delay. Back to you, Chris.
Well, that sheds some light on it. Thanks, Dave. And James Chalk, it shows how quickly he was going, because he can still make that ground up. There's still plenty of time left in this race for James Chalk to get back towards the top end. He's in 5th place as it stands, but he was the early leader. Dave Butler currently holds the lead after going through Ramsey. He's 0.19 seconds ahead of Gary Vines in 2nd place, and only 3 seconds further back is Andrew Farrell. Andrew Farrell already with a race win to his name. He was delighted to get that win on Wednesday. What can he do on this final day of racing here at the 2018 Festival of Motorcycling? He's currently in 3rd place as the riders who've gone through, just to clear up, Michael Rees and James Hine were the ones before. I hand it back to you, Dave. Number 24 is next interview. That's Richard Saville. Michael Rees, newcomer here, is going very, very well early on. He's in the top 10 in 9th place as it stands. There's a couple more come into view here. Number 21, I think that is. Next, Keith Clark is through safely. And he's off away, but fallen behind the pace. James Chalk, can he make that ground up? Well, there's plenty of time left in this race for him to do something, but Dave Butler currently leads at the Ramsey hairpin. Let's head back to the grandstand.
Well, we're just getting some information that James Chalk was black flagged there at Sulby Bridge, and they found nothing wrong with the bike, so he is going to get credited 29 seconds, we believe. That's the time he was stopped. So the story about James Chalk grows ever more interesting by the minute, but it was, rather than stopping to make adjustments, he was black flagged. So there will be a time adjustment made, and that is going to, well, put him in the lead by roughly 5 seconds. So at the bungalow, we have had the adjustment made, and there it is. At the bungalow, Chalk leads by exactly 5 seconds ahead of number 3, Gary Vines. In 3rd place is number 8, Dave Butler. He's 1.9 down on Vines. 4th is number 2, Andrew Farrell, who's 2.5 seconds down on Butler. So, the light now on at Cronknamona for number 3, Gary Vines. But James Chalk with that accredited time after being black flagged and nothing found wrong with the pattern. So he's being given that 29-second adjustment for the time that he was stopped there at Sulby Bridge, and he is back in the lead at the Bungalow by 5 seconds. But the little 250, the TZ Yamaha, has made it to Cronknamona first of all. So we're going to see Gary Vines across the line. Light just comes on now for number 5, David Lumsden. And let's just give you an update. Darrell Tweed 14.2 seconds ahead at Ballaugh Bridge in the ultralight weights. Number 59 from number 60, Steve Moody. But we should now have number 3 coming into our view very, very shortly indeed. We can hear machine noise. And that is 2 that's across the line first. Light came on didn't come on for Andrew Farrell there at Cronknamona, but here is Gary Vines. And Gary Vines 1.8 ahead of Andrew Farrell, who didn't register there at Cronknamona. So it is Farrell that still leads on the road ahead of number 3, Gary Vines. Also indicated now James Chalk at Cronknamona with a 7-second advantage over number 3, Gary Vines, who in turn is just 1.3 ahead of Dave Butler. Next machine across the line, and that is David Lumsden. And he was showing in 4th at Cronknamona, but it will be 5th with Andrew Farrell to slot in ahead of him. Looking up the road once more, and coming in to the pits is a bike here, and let's just have a little look as to who that is. And that is Butler. That is Butler, who was in 3rd. Let's go to Chris.
Yeah, looks like a scheduled stop to me anyway. The changes that they made with that slick engine obviously seem to be doing the job. So the red bike with the stickers on the side, you can see Buddy Auto Electrics on there, one of his local sponsors, and it's fuel, that's all it is. A splash and dash for number 8, just a little look in, sorry, we'll get in your way there now. The technical officials having a look around the bike, a lot of people waving their riders on. I can tell you the lights, Tim, that weren't coming up on the scoreboard, the scouts are working on them now to get them fixed. The little bulbs kind of worked, but the others did. But 8 is in, it's quite a long stop actually. Let's have a little look. I hope he knows it's a 4-lapper. Let's hope he does. Oh, and he's losing time here. It's not firing, so this is problems. There she goes. You hear her go. Nice and steady. 14. Oh, that's nice and bright today, isn't it? 44, 48. Perfect. Well done to you. I wonder how long that pit stop was. Tim O'Hanlon.
It was 48.9, and Butler was 13.6 seconds behind the leader. So that's 15.61. Just over a minute. So just a minute behind now.
Just over a minute. All right, Tim Glover, back to you.
Yep, James Chalk, as we say, he was just down the leaderboard at Ramsey. The time got accredited, and we saw at the Bungalow and Cronknamona, and now at the grandstand, I can tell you, he's safely through on the pattern, and he leads now by 8.4, nearly 8.5 seconds ahead of number 3, Gary Vines. Chalk 113.664 miles per hour on that little 250, and under the 20 minutes as well. 19 minutes 54.994 seconds. Gary Vines, he did 112.865. He's 1.8 seconds ahead of number 2, Andrew Farrell on the Kawasaki, who's in 3rd. Farrell in turn is 3.5 seconds ahead of in 4th place number 8, Dave Butler, but that will change as he came in for the pit stop there. 5th is number 5, David Lumsden, who's 5.9 down on Butler as Leon Murphy goes through. Let's catch up on the ultra lightweights as Roger Wibberley has just come into the pits as well for and it is for a fuel stop as well. So that's 2 of them in early. Let's go to Chris Cave for an update on the ultra lightweights at Ramsey Hairpin.
Yes, and Darrell Tweed has been through here already. Lightning quick is Darrell Tweed. He's now 17.5 seconds ahead of 2nd place Steve Moody. He is absolutely flying. Moody, Sinclair and Snow make up the top 4, but they're all some way off Darrell Tweed, and a lot of people were touting him to win this race, and he's looks like he's delivering the goods as it stands. So Tweed, Moody, Sinclair is the top 3 as we just have another bike interview. That's Derek Wilkie. number 73, and he goes round just taking it a bit wide, and he's got lots and lots of ground to make up if he's to do anything in this race as it stands. Derek Wilkie, but still early days for him. First lap for the ultralightveights, and Darrell Tweed is leading by 17 seconds. It's Tweed, Moody, Sinclair, that's your top three as another bike goes through. That's Carsten Svensson, but hand back to Tim.
Thank you very much indeed, Chris, for the update on the ultra-lightweight. But it's Chalk who leads the lightweight by 8.5 seconds. Number 9 from number 3, Gary Vines. Cracking ride in 7th for number 18, David Quine. And, well, you just wonder, have Roger Wibberley and Dave Butler put a bigger tank on? Can they get 3 laps out? Or are they thinking it's still a 3-lap race rather than a 4? We'll wait and see. Plenty of questions remain hanging in the air to be answered, but let's find out. The immediate question, who's leading at Glen Helen? Dave Christian.
Bang on time, Tim. Here's Andy Farrell now. Into the left-hander, gets that drive on, no mid-corner wobble this time, but Gary Vines is closing in on him. Vines will get a clear sight of him down Cronkovody. The gap is 5 seconds on corrected time, though, but Gary Vines will get a look at the back of Andy Farrell as they head towards Cronkovody and down the 11th milestone into Hanley's. Probably not going to catch him by then, but he's going to close on him right up on this lap. And it'll all be down to what happens in the pits at the end as well. And I'm pretty certain that when we've looked at Super Twin racing before, we've always had this conundrum on a 3-lap race, whether to pit at 1 or 2. But we haven't had anybody going the full distance. As Dave Lumsden through now. Lumsden safely makes his second passage here. And I hope the guys have got enough room in that tank just to get enough fuel to make it round for 3. But seems a bit of a gamble to me. But still, they know what they're doing there. Gary Vines with the early lead here then at Glen Helen on lap 2. He has a 5-second advantage over Andy Farrell. But, of course, James Chalk yet to get here. And also we got Brad Vickers, Mikey Evans and Dave Butler to fit in as well. Next machine 2 together come out of Glen Helen 2. Flick to the right. It's a very fast approach. That's 4 and 9 together on the road. 4 Brad Vickers. 9 is James Chalk. And Chalk leads Gary Vines now by 9 seconds. That's Gareth Evans safely through on his second lap as well. So number 9, James Chalk leads number 3, Gary Vines by 9 seconds on adjusted time. Glen Helen on lap 2. Andy Farrell third. He is further 5 seconds down on Vines. 4th place at the moment is number 5, Dave Lumsden. But we do need number 8, David Butler through before we can make that call. Talk of the devil, there he is. Carries his corner speed very well. Butler in currently 6th place. He drops to after that pit stop. And Dave Butler, number 8, down to 6th place. He tucks in just 4 seconds down on 5th place, Gareth Evans. And remember, Evans, Lumsden, Farrell, all yet to stop. Same with Vines and Chalk, to be honest. But everybody yet to stop. So Dave Butler has got his pit stop in the bank, provided he can make it go 4 laps. Brad Vickers then currently 7th. He is 6 seconds down on 6th place, Dave Lumsden. Number 18 may just have an influence on this. David Quine was in 7th place as they came into the grandstand. And number 52, Michael Rees, continuing his great start inside the top 10. And just 2 seconds away from Brad Vickers was number 52, Michael Rees. So plenty of time there for Rees. He started in 22nd place and up to 9th place at the grandstand. Other times we picked up on lap 1 here at Glen Helen. I have to stress this was Glen Helen on lap 1. Number 42, Peter Moore, Team Moot Racing, started in 32nd and we're up to 10th place. So a 22 place game for Peter Moore. Jack Fowler as well, great start from him as we take another 2 machines now through. That's 15 and 11, Jamie Edwards and Leon Murphy both safely through here on their second lap. So Team Moot Racing, a 22 place gain. Jack Fowler 37th up to 14th, so it can start from him. That is 18 now. David Quine, and Quine does indeed take that 6th place. So number 18, David Quine to 6th place. Glen Helen on lap 2. Next machine in, onto the brakes, down the gearbox, just gets that throttle started to open as Stevie Horn making his climb up towards Sarah's Cottage. Number 16, Stevie Horn, safely through here on his second lap, and he is in 10th place currently. 17 through now, Richard Stubbs. 11th place for Stubbs. Again, that's provisional. 49, James Hind, I think might just slot in front of these two. And 49, James Hind, he was in 11th place as they came through the grandstand. 3 machines now out of Glen Helen. 2 numbers 52, 49 and 12 together on the road. 52, Michael Reese makes the jump up to 8th place now. He's passed Brad Vickers on corrected time between the grandstand and Glen Helen. And number 49, James Hind, 11th place for Hind, just outside that top 10. So your leader on Glen Helen on lap 2, it's James Chalk. Number 9, James Chalk leads the race from number 3, Gary Vines, by 9 seconds. 3rd place, number 2, Andrew Farrell. He's 5 seconds down on Vines. In 4th, number 5, Dave Lumsden. He is 13 seconds down on Farrell. And making up your top 5 at the moment, it's number 6, Gareth Evans, who is 41 seconds down on Lumsden. The other riders we were watching in the opening lap, Ali Foster and Veronika Hankachova. Ali Foster started 31st and was up to 18th place after the opening sector on the first lap. And Veronika Hankachova started 38th. She'd made 9 places to 29th. That's number 53. And that again was at Glen Helen on lap 1. It is James Chalk leads Gary Vines, though, in the race. And 9 seconds the gap, and we'll go back to Tim at the grandstand.
And we'll go straight down to Chris Kinney, because I believe that's Alex Sinclair who's pitted at the end of lap 1 in the ultra-lightweight, Chris.
Yeah, I think somebody's just gone straight through there. I'm not sure if it's, it'll be number 67 that's gone straight through. It's Danny
Moody.
Ingham. It is Moody's in for a pit stop, number 60. Alex Sinclair's in as well. Darrell Tweed leads across the line, 31.1. Alex Sinclair with a pit stop, got to add this in. It was 7.1 before it, and 67 Daniel Ingham, 1.9 further back. There's another little Moto 3 bike going past. And that's, who was that there? That would be Tom Snow. So Tom Snow provisionally up to 3rd at the moment. It's busy. This is going to be hard to work out. Number 60 just having a problem. Just won't fire at the moment. Number 60, Steve Moody, losing a little bit of time off Darrell Tweed at 31.1. Tim.
Yeah, well, coming into the grandstand, I can tell you that Darrell Tweed, 105.839. He had a 31.1 second advantage over in second Stephen Moody. 3rd was Tom Snow, who was 1.7 down. 4th was Alex Sinclair, 5.4 down on Snow. Let's go down to Chris and Tim O'Hanlon.
Yeah, well, Sinclair was 10.3 seconds slower than Moody in the pits, so that's going to push him right down now. Back to you, Tim.
Yeah, that is really going to shake things up now in the ultra lightweights, and of course we've got a couple of unknown factors now with pit stops for Butler and also Roger Wibberley in the lightweights as well. Blackbridge, though, and Chalk's lead is 11.5 seconds over number 3 Gary Vines. He in turn is 5.8 seconds ahead of in 3rd number 2 Andrew Farrell, and he's 14 seconds ahead. And let's go to Ramsey straight away. Chris Cave.
Well, James Chalk's stock is rising all the time, isn't it? His lead at Blackbridge, 11.5 seconds as the first 2 bikes come through here at Ramsey Hairpin. It's number 2 and number 3. So that's Farrell and Vines, respectively. And roaring round the corner, Gary Vines is doing incredibly well, and he just proves why he'd be so frustrated that he couldn't finish on Wednesday. He's going great guns at the moment. He leads here at Ramsey Hairpin. He's 8 seconds ahead of Andrew Farrell. Andrew Farrell leading out there on the track. He was first through here, but Gary Vines quicker by 8 seconds. But James Chalk is leading, or was leading overall at Blackbridge. It's not the full story of this race so far, though, is it? James Chalk black flagged when he was leading. 20 seconds behind he was on the opening lap, according to the leaderboard here at Ramsey Hairpin on the first lap. And the black flag could have unsettled him as number 5 goes through here. Number 5 is David Lumsden, 16.9 seconds down on Andrew Farrell. But Chalk could have been unsettled by that black flag, but he looks and sounds like he's focused on, determined to get the job done here. And what a start it would be in this first race of the day in the lightweight. So James Chalk is next in here, or he's due in next. We'll just see how he does. David Lumsden was 16.8 seconds down on Andrew Farrell, and here comes James Chalk. And a fine line is brilliant once again, and he's away, and And he is leading, and he's stretching the lead all the time. He's now 14 seconds ahead of Gary Vines. The lead is just stretching with every milestone that he takes on here. James Chalk going so well, and he looks to add to the victory he already has to his name in the Junior Manx Grand Prix. And he'll be taking that momentum into the remaining laps of this race. As the next bike through here is Brad Vickers. And Brad Vickers just followed by number 6, Gareth Evans, who's taken that quite widely, it has to be said. And he's followed by bike number 8, Dave Butler. Now, Butler's transponder wasn't working on Wednesday for the first couple of laps, and he was actually in contention in 4th place. He's a bit further behind now. He's in 5th as it stands at Ramsey Hairpin here, and he's some way off the top 4 positions, 43 seconds down on David Lumsden. But we've had James Chalk, Gary Vines, Andrew Farrell, David Lumsden, Dave Butler, Gareth Evans and Brad Vickers all through here at Ramsey Hairpin. Chalk leads though by 14 seconds ahead of Gary Vines. He's looking to register a podium finish after frustration on Wednesday. Andrew Farrell, he's doing pretty well himself. He's in 3rd place, but he needs to keep on the tail of Gary Vines and James Chalk, because he'll be feeling that if anything does happen, if there's a retirement, then he can seize that opportunity and go on to win this race himself. And he came out fighting, didn't he? He was emotional in his post-race interview with Chris Kinley on Wednesday. He said he's not here to make up the numbers. Well, he's in 3rd place at the moment. He's got a win already to his name. Can he add to that tally today? Well, he's 8 seconds down on Gary Vines. He's in 3rd place at the moment, Andrew Farrell, followed by Lumsden, Butler, Evans and Vickers. That's your top 7. They're the ones who have been through here at Ramsey Hairpin, and James Chalk's lead stretching all the time as he heads into his 3rd lap. He should be, well, he'll have the momentum with him and the belief that he can go on and secure victory in this race. Chalk, Vines and Farrell is the top 3 as it stands. And we've just got a little pause here in the bikes coming through. Spectators awaiting the next competitor through here at Ramsey Hairpin. They can hear the bikes coming. They've seen some great racing already this week, as the next bike is here, number 15. That is Jamie Edwards, and Jamie Edwards followed in quick succession by 2 bikes, number 18 and number 11. That's David Quine and Leon Murphy. Local man David Quine there. He's been chased down by Leon Murphy there. So we've had the top 10 bikes through at the moment, or the only 10 through. We're scheduled to see Stephen Horn, I think, next on the road. And these are some way off the top 4. Dave Butler, who is in 5th place, is 43 seconds down on David Lumsden. So it seems like the top 4 are pretty comfortable at the moment. But James Chalk leads by 14 seconds here at the Ramsey Hairpin. Back to Dave Christian.
Yeah, thanks. We've got the first few of the ultras through now, and leading is still number 59, Darryl Tweed. He leads number 65, Tom Snow, by 41 seconds at Glen Helen on lap 2. In 3rd place, number 67, Daniel Ingham. He is 9 seconds down on Snow. In 4th place, number 66, Andy Cowie. He's 2 seconds down on Ingham. In 5th place, number 61, Mike Carter. He's 8 seconds down on Cowie. And in 7th place, Nigel Moore, number 72. He's just 0.2 of a second down on in 6th place, number 64, Alex Sinclair. He's 20 seconds down on Carter. In 7th, number 72, Nigel Moore. He's 0.2 of a second down on Sinclair. And in 8th place, number 60, Steve Moody. He's 3 seconds down on Nigel Moore. Back to Tim Glover at the grandstand.
Yeah, news of the women competing here, and Ali Foster currently in 24th, 103.46 miles per hour on her opening lap. And what a performance by Veronika Hansiova. She did 101 in the race on Wednesday, 103.12, 26th place. At the moment for Veronika. Chalk leads at the bungalow by 15.4 seconds ahead of number 3, Gary Vines. Some more retirements. Number 22, Eric Lenzer, has retired at the Ashler Drive approach to Union Mills. 42 and 41, Peter Moore and Ian Stanford have retired at the pits. and 26 Tommy Henry has retired at Ballacrane. Lights are on now for number 3 and 2, Gary Vines and Andrew Farrell. Farrell currently third at the Bungalow, and Vines in second. The gap between them at the Bungalow, 8.4. And then we have Lumsden in fourth, Butler in fifth, sixth for Gareth Evans, and seventh for Brad Vickers. We now wait for them to come here onto Glencrutchery Road, and it should be Farrell just marginally ahead of number 3, unless Vines has got ahead on the run down from Cronknamona to here on Glencrutchery Road. And we are on for a particularly fast lap, we reckon, from James Chalk. They're going to slow down, of course, to come into the pits, and they're virtually flashing up together as they come onto Glencrutchery Road. So we look up to the trees at the top of the police access road, and the klaxon sounds. One bike comes into view, 2 bikes come into view. We look at the screens to see what lap he has done. For James Chalk, it is 114.350, just outside. He's missed the pit, down to Chris.
Yeah, Andy Farrell, Tim, that was. It's missed his pit. He's missed and he's stopped. His team are pushing him back. Gary Vines had to go to the right-hand side of him. The gap between Vines and Farrell into the pit, 9.114, but he's lost a little bit of time, and one of his team has just dropped this darkened visor on the floor as well. I always have the drama in the pit stops, don't we? James Chalk leads at Cronknamona, 14.289. That's the gap that he has over 3. Gary Vines, who in turn had a 9.3 advantage over number 2, Andy Farrell. David Lumsden also do Cronknamona, and he's 21.325 further back there now. So a little bit more time lost there by Andy Farrell. Here goes the klaxon in the background. This is the man we're waiting for, I think. It should be number 9, James Chalk. You'll hear the pattern screaming alongside. Here it comes. No, it's number 5. That's Hammer, actually. And Andy Farrell again. Just control yourself, Andy. Settle down. It's 5. It's Lumsden. So number 2. Oh, Andy Farrell's gone out there a bit quick as well. Getting a little bit hot. Let's hope the little 250 can fire up. Yeah, there she goes. Sweet as a nut. So, number 2's been in. Number 3's been in. Number 3 is now out. And number 5 is in. And here is Chalky. Tim Glover, what's the lap?
Well, we're just looking at Gazelle. Yes, 114.993 miles per hour. That is a lap record. Beats Hodson's from a few years ago there on the pattern. And Vines wasn't far away either, Chris.
Telling the TV boys, lap record for Chalk. Well done to him. His lead, Tim, is 15.1 into the pit stop. 15.1 as David Lumsden gets away. So, number 9, James Chalk, into the pits. 15.1 is the gap that he has there on the Mark Coverdale pattern over number 3, Gary Vines, who's been in and out. Number 2, Andy Farrell. I'm sure he's going to lost a little bit of time in the pits. He's about 9 seconds back off that. And David Lumsden, 21.66. You hear the pattern fire up again? Nice and steady, nice and controlled. There you go, hits the limiter off. Oh, the thing started spinning up. Now that's Davy Butler who's just gone straight through. So pit stops, Davy Butler in round about 5th place as Brad Vickers comes in for his pit stop. Brad in 7th as he come across the line. And number 6 there, Gareth Evans, who gets ahead of Brad Vickers. So Gareth Evans in 6th, Brad Vickers number 4, he's in 7th. But Davy Butler could be the one here now that could change all this around. He's right on the back there now of James Chalk. And remember, Butler started at 8, Chalk started at 9. So Chalk will have 10 seconds on him. But pit stop, Tim O'Hanlon.
James Chalk was way quicker than Vince O'Farrell. He was 44.1, whereas Vines was 1 minute and 8 seconds. Farrell was 1 minute 0.8. So that would give a 7.2 lead to Vines from Farrell. So he's lost pace. And Butler, if they take his pit stop from last time, was 48.9. He was 1 minute and 22 seconds behind the leader at Ramsey, so that would probably put him into 4th, probably ahead of Lumsden.
All right, okay, well, we'll get that confirmed through Glen Helen. So Chalk, Vines, Farrell, Lumsden, how tight would you like to be in Dave Butler in the mix, Tim?
Oh, fantastic stuff indeed. And James Chalk with a lap record slowing down as well to come in for that pit stop. 19 minutes, 41.182 seconds, 114.993 miles per hour. And I'm bringing Chris Boyd here. You were calling that all the way round.
Yeah, he was 12 seconds inside lap record pace. Ramsey, Gary Vines was also inside the standing lap record to Rob Hodson. Vines obviously just lost a couple of seconds slowing down for the pit stops, but Chalk, that's superb. Almost 115 miles an hour on the Super Twin.
And Gary Vines wasn't far away from the record himself. And looking at the ultras, I can tell you that Darrell Tweed is now at Ramsey Hairpin. Going back to Ballath Bridge in that race, 45.6 seconds he is ahead of Tom Snow as bikes continue to pit here at the grandstand. Gary Vines, that lap 19 minutes 47.8 compared to Chalk at 19 minutes 41.1. But Vines 114.350 miles per hour. Andrew Farrell 113.652 miles per hour. David Lumsden at 112.481. Dave Butler 108.473. So let's get the full ultra lightweight leaderboard now on lap 2 at Ramsey Hairpin.
Well, the sun has started to shine for the first time through the clouds here at Ramsey Hairpin. The conditions are perfect, and so far Darrell Tweed is flourishing in them in the ultra lightweight. He was first through here, 50 seconds roundabout ahead of Tom Snow in second place, bike number 65, Tom Snow. He's followed by Melton Mowbray's Daniel Ingham. 16 seconds further back is Daniel Ingham. So it's Tweed, Snow, Ingham is your top three. Andrew Cowie just coming through. He's bike number 66. He's in fourth. Mike Carter, Alex Sinclair and Steve Moody all through here in the ultra lightweights at Ramsey Hairpin. Back to the grandstand.
First speeding fender is David Quine, and well over 68.7. So a 30-second penalty for number 18, David Quine. Well, how do you like your drama? Pit stops at various different laps, different leaders. We've had a black flag as well, a few missing on transponder points as well. It's an incredibly difficult race to keep over and keep across, but it is all going to pan out now at Glen Helen. So let's get the latest episode in this drama with Dave Christian.
Yeah, thanks, Tim. Here's Farrell now. No problems for him at all. Gets on the power nice and early. Gets to drive on up towards Sarah's cottage. Gary Vines, that gap seems a little bit bigger than it was on the last lap. I could be wrong. Indeed, it is a little bit bigger. Farrell is now ahead of Vines. Gary Vines was ahead of Andy Farrell before those pit stops. Farrell now in front. And I thought that gap would come down a little bit. You can tell with the 10-second starting difference. You can tell when somebody arrives a little bit sharper. And Gary Vines wasn't quite there this time. And the gap between the two is 0.02 of a second. It's not much, but it's certainly bigger than it was last time around. 5 seconds, I think it was, the gap here on lap 2. That's Dave Lumsden through. Lumsden safely through on his third lap now. And he is in third place at the moment, number 5. But here's the pattern. Chalk still leads, and the lead's grown as 8 comes through. David Butler. Chalk leads David Butler. So number 9 leads number 8 by 42 seconds on lap 3. And in third place, number 2, Andrew Farrell, who's just a second and a half away from David Butler. In fourth at the moment, we've got Gary Vines. He is 0.02 of a second down on Andrew Farrell. And making up your top 5, it's number 5, Dave Lumsden. He is 13 seconds down on Vines. Of course, Butler got that advantage by pitting a little bit earlier, but we have to assume that he's confident that the bike will make 3 laps on 1 tank of fuel. And no, I'm not convinced myself, but obviously they've done their math and it seems to be working out right for them. But at the moment, Chalk has a lead that's starting to look like it's going to be difficult to catch. 42.5 seconds with 2 laps to go. I think Chalky, if he keeps his head down and starts thinking about getting that bike round to the finish, will be difficult to catch. But Butler certainly on the charge, and Farrell and Vines still very much in it. Next 2 into the left-hander here. It's 4 and 6. Brad Vickers and Gareth Evans pretty much together on the road, but Gareth Evans ahead on corrected time by almost 20 seconds, but a little bit off the pace of the top 5, with the gap between Evans in 6th place and David Lumsden in 5th place now 1 minute and 20 seconds. So those top 5 are pretty much about a minute, I think, separating the top 5 altogether as a group. But outside of those 5, there is a further minute back to the chasing pack. Bikes to watch out for. We've been following Mike Rees and Jack Fowler. Glen Helen on lap 2, number 52. Michael Rees started in 22nd position, was up to 8th. Jack Fowler, number 55, started in 37th position. He was up to 14th. So 2 cracking rides there for guys just outside the main bunch. And Rees is, he's in touch and distance of Dave Quine. And, of course, number 18, David Quine, hasn't made it here yet. Did pick up a speeding penalty there in pit lane. And I suspect he's going to drop, 1, 2, 3, maybe 4 places as a result of that, depending on whether or not anybody else has hit any pit lane problems with the old dreaded speedometer. Other riders we keep an eye out for, Yoshihiro Kishimoto, the Japanese rider. He was started in 33rd place at Glen Helen on lap 2. He was up to 17th, so a 16th-place gain for him. And obviously the 2 ladies, Veronika Hankachova and Ali Foster, they both made great starts to the race. Hankachova started 38th, up to 25th position, and I think the guys had her in 24th at I think it was Ramsey Hairpin, so she's got a little bit of work to do yet, but a 13th-place gain for her. And Ali Foster as well, a 10th-place gain for Ali Foster, started 31st last we seen, up to 21st, and in fact 24th. We have her now at the grandstand at the end of lap 2. Next rider into the left-hander here, that's 18, David Quine. And he has certainly dropped he was 7th place at the grandstand. He's at least 8th place now. David Quine through, as is Jamie Edwards now through, followed by Roger Wibley on the road. But it's some of those higher start numbers that are going to influence this top 10 with Michael Rees and James Hind. And 11, Leon Murphy comes through. Murphy was 14th at the grandstand. He's 11th quickest of the 11 through here. But it's Hind and Michael Rees that are going to influence that top end. And with that, we'll quickly go back to Tim Glover at the grandstand.
Well, let's go straight down to Chris Kinley, our ultra-lightweight leader. Daryl Tweed's in the pits.
Yeah, it was 40 or so seconds that he had at the bungalow. Nobody else is through the bungalow, through Cronknamona as of yet. Is the only rider in here. Just a quick splash and dash for the man from up there near Ballymoney leading this race, and of course in control and looking for the double. We've also got number 30 Alan Thomas in the lightweight class in for his pit stop at the moment, and they're the only 2 machines in here at the moment. 30 on the yellowy orangey plate with the black numbers, and of course Daryl Tweed just about to leave us here now. The little bike fires up okay, yeah, nice and steady. It's all he has to do is go nice and easy. He'll know exactly where he is. Cronknamona, he leads by 53 seconds from Tom Snow. Now we've got to wait and see if Tom's going to come into pit or not as number 30 gets away. You hear the klaxon go once more. Who's this coming in? This is number 36 in the lightweight class. So that's who we're not keeping a little eye for that one at all, but it's Tom Snow. We don't know if Tom will have to come in or not, if he's on the Moto 3 bike. There's 53 back from Tweed. Then it was Cowie, 16 seconds back, Andy Cowie. And then Daniel Ingham, number 67, 12 seconds back. But it's the only man through at the moment at the grandstand. He's done some pretty good lap times as well, Daryl Tweed, Tim, hasn't he?
Yeah, that's 106.567 miles per hour on his last lap. Tremendous performance there by the Ballymoney man on the Kawasaki, Daryl Tweed. And we're just looking to see the next few due. We'll be coming down Glen Crutcher Road, so we'll take it back to you, Chris, as the klaxon sounds.
Yeah, we look up the road once more, and they start to blast in. Somebody's going straight through there now. 1 rider through, 2 riders through. Now that's the other 2 guys. That's 67 Ingham and also 64 Sinclair. So the gap that Tweed has, and also don't forget they got the pit stop into that. And we've also got number 60. Can't sure there was now. That's Tom Snow. That's Tom Snow that has just gone through. So that's 1:01. So after the pit stop, as Tom Snow has gone through, 1:01. So 59 Tweed leaves Snow by 1 minute and 1.554. That's 65. 66 Andy Cowie in third. Only just 5 seconds. 4.951 back in third. 67 Daniel Ingham's 12 seconds back off Cowie in fourth. And Alex Sinclair, fifth, number 64, 9 seconds back. And Steve Moody after his pit stop, of course, earlier on, he's 15 seconds back. But how long was Tweed? No, did you get it, Tim?
Yes, he was 48.2, which was slightly slower because Moody was 45.7 and Sinclair was 35.4.
And don't forget, Snow hasn't come in at all. So
Snow hasn't come in and Ingham hasn't. He's gone straight through as well.
Over to Chris Cave, Ramsey.
Well, James Chalk is just pulling away from the chasing pack. The first one through here is Andrew Farrell, who's number 2. Gary Vines next into sight, number 3. They're both through here at Ramsey, rounding the bend and beginning the climb on towards the mountain. So Andrew Farrell, he was first through, but it's Gary Vines who's leading at Ramsey Hairpin. He's 1.9 seconds ahead of Andrew Farrell. They're the only 2 through so far, but at Belaf Bridge we saw that James Chalk is just building a bit of an unassailable lead, you imagine, and you get the impression his team will be saying to themselves, don't do anything stupid, James, and this race is in the bag. Next through here is it's Dave Lumsden and James Chalk. They're neck and neck, right? They can touch each other, and they do give each other a little glance. And I think that's Chalk who just rounds David Lumsden on the track there. So James Chalk overtaking David Lumsden. Next through is number 8, Dave Butler. That's quite wide, and Dave Butler is actually in second place. He's now 50 seconds behind James Chalk. James Chalk is absolutely flying, and he is on course, if it stays as it is, to win this lightweight race too. So through here at Ramsey Hairpin so far, James Chalk is leading by 50 seconds ahead of number 8, Dave Butler. Gary Vines making up the top 3 at the moment. He is a further 1.5 seconds down on Dave Butler, but he'll be feeling the pressure really from Andrew Farrell because he's breathing down his neck. Farrell will want a top 3 finish, and further 15 seconds down on Andrew Farrell is David Lumsden, who has just been overtaken out there by James Chalk. And James Chalk, as we say, in blistering form. He is on course to register a win here in lightweight race 2, the first race of the final day of action, and what a day it's been so far. Drama here in this lightweight race because James Chalk, he was black flagged on the first lap, but he's come back and recovered well. He's so focused, his mindset is perfect for this, and he's 50 seconds ahead of Dave Butler at Ramsey Hairpin. So Chalk, Butler, Vines is the top 3. Farrell is just behind Vines, 1.9 seconds behind Vines, so he'll be vying to catch him and move into the top 3 positions. David Lumsden, the only other person through so far here on the third lap at Ramsey Hairpin, and David Lumsden is in 5th place. A couple more just coming onto the approach here at the hairpin. It's number 4 and number 6 again, very, very close together out there on the road. Gareth Evans and Brad Vickers, and they disappear into the distance. Gareth Evans 1.5 minutes down on Dave Lumsden, so you feel they're not going to trouble the top 3. They won't get a position on the podium, but they're the only ones through here so far. We've only had 7 through. Chalk, Butler, Vines are leading. They're the top 3. Farrell is in 4th, Lumsden in 5th, Gareth Evans and Brad Vickers, they're the latest to go through here at Ramsey. And Evans is in 6th place, 1.5 minutes down on David Lumsden. So you feel that Lumsden will feel pretty comfortable that he's not going to be troubled by Evans. Remains to be seen who will be next in, whether they can push themselves into those top 5 positions. But James Chalk is, it's not been plain sailing for him. He's had a bit of drama with that black flag, but he's leading. He's absolutely romping home to victory as it stands 50 seconds ahead of Dave Butler. And Gary Vines is 1.5 seconds down on Butler, so he'll be challenging for possibly a second spot here. And Farrell also in the mix to try and challenge them and get into those top 3 positions. We've only had 7 bikes through here at the hairpin on lap 3. The latest 2 to go through were Gareth Evans and Brad Vickers in 6th and 7th respectively, and it looks like they're not going to trouble those top 5 riders who are giving as good as they can get at the moment. But this race just pulling away from the chasing pack, and through the bungalow, Gary Vines 113.236, Andrew Farrell 114.122, so 1.07 down on Gary Vines. That's at the bungalow. So we're still waiting more bikes to come through here at Ramsey Hairpin. The sun is starting to shine through the trees, so that's nice to see, and the conditions are perfect for racing. And James Chalk absolutely flying, going so well, 50 seconds up on Dave Butler, who is in 2nd place. Gary Vines making up the top 3 as it stands, and we'll go back to Dave Christian at Glen Helen.
Yes, thanks for that, Chris. The ultra lightweight class have started to stream through now, and still leading is number 59, Darryl Tweed, and he has a 14-second lead over number 65, Tom Snow. And of course, Tom Snow going 3 laps without a stop, and he's closed that gap right down. Third place, number 66, Andy Cowie. He is just 6 seconds down on Tom Snow. In fourth, number 67, Daniel Ingham. He's 12 seconds back on Cowie. In fifth place, number 64, Alex Sinclair. He's 9 seconds down on Ingham. In sixth at the moment, number 61, Mike Carter. He is 0.3 of a second down on Sinclair. And seventh at the moment is Steve Moody, number 60. He's 17 seconds down on Carter. That not stopping for fuel has really closed this race up with something like 42 seconds between the top four. Back to you at the grandstand, Tim.
Well, the ultra lightweights are, of course, on their last lap, and the lightweights are about to start their last lap. At the bungalow, James Chalk's lead has gone out even more, 52.7 seconds. He leads number 8, Dave Butler, but what a battle for the podium places. Third is Gary Vines. He's just 0.3 of a second down on Butler, and he's only a second ahead of number 2, Andrew Farrell, who's in fourth. And the other rider through at the bungalow is David Lumsden. So they will be flashing past us at the grandstand very shortly. Also now there are Gareth Evans and Brad Vickers at the bungalow, but we're still waiting for the first of the lights to come on at Cronknamona. And there is the first one. It is number 3, Gary Vines. Alan Thomas, number 30, 30-second penalty for speeding in pit lane, 63.671 kilometres an hour. As number 3, the light is on for him, but the light for Andrew Farrell doesn't appear to have come on at Cronknamona, but that happened on the opening lap, so we won't count our chickens yet. But no light on for number 2, Andrew Farrell. It did happen earlier on, so we'll just keep a watch out for that with our eyes. But Chalk is safely at Cronknamona at the end of his third lap, and he's 53.3 seconds ahead. But Andrew Farrell, well, I think we will see him come past us at Glencrutchery Road if he's still in the race. That is indeed Andrew Farrell. So it's a little pickup problem at Cronknamona with the transponder. So Farrell is safely through as we wait now for Gary Vines. Here he is. Beautiful sound from Vines there. 108.395 includes the pit stop, of course, for Farrell. Vines 107.461. And James Chalk will be shortly with us, coming through Signpost and Governor's Dip and the bridge and onto Glencrutchery Road, and will be potentially the next bike to go past us here at the grandstand. And a klaxon sounding, but it isn't for the pattern. There it is. And Chalk at 110.785, which includes the pit stop. So that little pattern is singing at the moment. And a 51.2 second advantage over number 2, Andrew Farrell, who is in second place now. So he's moved up Farrell into second. Third is now number 8, Dave Butler, who's only a second behind Farrell, and only 0.6 ahead of number 3, Gary Vines. So that is the shake-up that we've got for the podium. I think it could change at nearly every transponder point and commentary point during this fourth and final lap of the Manx Grand Prix Supporters Club Lightweight Manx Grand Prix Race 2. But it is Chalk who's in command, looking for his second win of the week. But he's 51.2 seconds ahead of now new in second Andrew Farrell, who's 1 second ahead of Butler, who in turn is just 0.6 ahead of Gary Vines. Balaf Bridge in the ultra lightweight, and Darrell Tweed's lead extended now, number 59 over number 65 Tom Snow. It is now up to 19 seconds. And then a further 6 seconds back in third is number 66, Andrew Cowie, who in turn is 3.4 seconds ahead of number 67, Daniel Ingham. Ingham 9.8 seconds ahead of 64, Alex Sinclair. And he is 17.7 seconds ahead of sixth place number 61, Mike Carter, who is just 1.5 seconds, that's all, ahead of in seventh, number 60, Steve Moody. So Tweed's lead is growing at Balaf Bridge. More to come across the line here. And that was Brad Vickers and Gareth Evans, 104.69 and 105.28 in the order of Vickers and Evans. Let's see where they slot in. In 6th place, number 6, Gareth Evans. He's a minute and 47 seconds down on 5th place Lumsden, and Brad Vickers, number 4, is 7th place for him, 22.3 down on Evans, who is in 6th. But it's Chalk who, well, he's just got to get that little pattern round and not be running low on fuel or anything like that. He took his time in the pits, made sure it was brimmed to get round and complete this race, and 110.785 on lap 3 is just way it's 113, of course, 0.790 from Butler, but that didn't include the pit stop. That was a flying lap for Butler. But for Chalk, 110.7, including the pit stop. He is absolutely flying his way round the TT course here as we approach just about midday on the last Friday of the Isle of Man Festival of Motorcycling. Darrell Tweed should be through Ramsey Hairpin. Let's catch up with him with Chris Cave.
Right on cue, Tim, as he rounds the bend and flying his way. He is streets ahead of his nearest opponent out there on the track at the Laff Bridge. Tom Snow was within 20 seconds of Darrell Tweed, but he's looking very, very comfortable. He looks like he's very familiar with his machine and the course, and of course he was flying on Wednesday as well. He was ran out of fuel, didn't he, because he didn't realise it was a 4-lap race. But he's doing terrifically well here. He's the only one in the ultras we've had through so far, although I say that, commentator's curse. Next to it's number 30 in the lightweight
Chris,
class.
just cut across you. James Chalk, we're hearing, is a retirement in the lightweight. James Chalk, a retirement at Balagary. Was I picking up? Yep. So James Chalk, doesn't matter where, but he's retired on his way here from the grandstand out to Glen Helen. So we've got an almighty scrap now for all 3 places. Unfortunate for Chalk, but he is a retirement. Let's go back out to Ramsey Hairpin.
Well, what a race this is. Controversy, drama. James Chalk retired then, and it was very nip and tuck between the chasing pack. Andrew Farrell and Dave Butler, that were among those who were vying to in the top 3 mix. We've just had a few more ultra lightweights through here. Tom Snow, Andrew Cowie and Daniel Ingham all through, as is Alex Sinclair and Steve Moody. But Darrell Tweed still leaded 22.5 seconds ahead of Tom Snow. Andrew Cowie third. Let's go back to Glen Helen.
Yes, thanks Chris. Farrell, Vines and now Dave Lumsden all through here on their final pass. Next man in is number 8, David Butler, and my goodness, it's close. There is 3.5 seconds separating the top 3, but in the moment in pole position, number 2, Andrew Farrell, he leads number 3, Gary Vines, by 3 seconds. Number 8, David Butler, is in 3rd place. He is just half a second down on Vines and waiting to pounce just in case anyone has any further problems. Number 5, Dave Lumsden, he is 21 seconds back on Butler. The big question, though, is has David Butler calculated that fuel consumption correctly? Will he be able to make 3 laps on the Kawasaki? Well, we'll wait and see. Time is certainly going to tell as those 4 make their way off towards the Laff Bridge. But it is Farrell now who takes the advantage. He's had a pretty good race so far. Only little wobble he had was a little bit of a mid-corner direction change here on the first lap. Other than that, he's been as smooth as you like. And Gary Vines is chasing him down on the TZ. There's virtually nothing between them. After 3 laps, 3 seconds is all that separates them two. And David Butler, with his fueling early with that brim the tank at the end of lap 1. In theory, you're putting less fuel in. It takes a little bit less time in the pits. You might get away with a quicker pit stop, but obviously no good if the bike won't do 3 laps. And Butler currently 3rd place, half a second down on Vines. And as I said, Lumsden just waiting to pounce. of the riders through the grandstand in the lightweight class. Lumsden was in 5th position. Obviously, everybody's going to shuffle up one with Chalk's retirement. Gareth Evans was holding 6th place. Michael Rees, great ride from him, holding 7th. That's number 52, Michael Rees. Something fast, though, approaches. Flick to the right, down the box. That is Gareth Evans. Nice and tidy from him, number 6, and he's followed on the road by number 4, Brad Vickers. These two, though, well off the pace. Evans now in 5th place. He is 1 minute and 51 seconds down on 4th place, David Lumsden, which just goes to show you the pace that's been running at the head of this race, with Farrell, Vines, Butler, Lumsden and Chalk streets ahead of the rest of the field. In 6th place, number 4 at the moment, that's Brad Vickers. He's 25 seconds down on 5th place, Evans. But Michael Rees was in between those two. Number 52, Michael Rees, the fantastic race from him, started in 22nd place, holding 7th place at the grandstand. We suspect he's going to be 6th place now with Chalk out, and a great run from Mike Rees, the newcomer. Also running well, we've been keeping an eye on number 55, Jack Fowler. He's not quite made it through the grandstand at the end of his 3rd lap yet, but Fowler started 37th. Our last position check on him showed him in 17th. Also, the Japanese rider, Spill in practice at Cruikshanks, which isn't a place where you want to come off, but Yoshihiro Kishimoto, 33rd. He started, was up to 21st position at Glen Helen on lap 3. And the two ladies still circulating. Number 32, Ali Foster. She was up to 24th place at Glen Helen on lap 3 from a start position of 31. And, of course, Veronika Hankachova started in 38th, a 12th place gain for Veronika, who was in 26th position at Glen Helen on lap 3. So some great rides further down the field. The action, though, is at the head. If you can tear yourself away from that, keep a lookout for those battles. They're happening all throughout the race. And I can see David Quine and Jamie Edwards through the grandstand. Just a 5-second gap between those two on corrected time, and that's down in 10th and 11th position. So the battle for the top 10 still going on down the field. Up in front, though, number 2, Andrew Farrell, has that very, very narrow advantage over number 3, Gary Vines, just 3 seconds. And can he maintain that? And number 8, David Butler, in 3rd place, just half a second down, but with that possible question mark about whether or not the Kawasaki's fuel consumption will allow him to complete the 3rd lap on the 1 tank of fuel. Next man into the left-hander, that's 18, David Quine. 7th position he was at the grandstand. 7th position he is holding now. Jamie Edwards, 15. He's through now here on his final lap. That's number 15, Jamie Edwards through. Quine and Edwards just about together on the road. Maybe a little bit of a 3 or 4 second gap between them, but Edwards will get a look at Quine as they go down Cronkavody. 2 more into view. Fire it into the left hand. That's 52, Mike Rees, the one we were waiting for, and 12, Roger Wibley. Michael Rees indeed does go into 6th position. Great ride from Michael Rees on number 52. 13 seconds the gap between him and 6th place Gareth Evans. As we get 11 and 49 through as well. 49, James Hind, and he goes into 8th position, and we'll go back to Tim Glover at the grandstand,
where the light is on for number 59 in the ultra-lightweight, Darrell Tweed, up at the bungalow. He'd stretched that advantage over number 65, Tom Snow, to 27.784 seconds. Snow, of course, hasn't pitted, but Tweed looks as if he's going to double up here as we approach midday on the final Friday of the Manx Grand Prix in the Isle of Man Festival of Motorcycling. Winner of the race on Wednesday, and looks like he's going to do it once again here today. And we are going to get this situation of the checkered flag waving as bikes in both classes will be going across the finish line, or the line just to head out on their 4th lap. So they've got to pick out the winner here. This is him now. Expertly done by the flagman as well, identifying Darrell Tweed. He is your Manx Grand Prix Supporters Club ultra lightweight winner. He has doubled up. Winner on Wednesday, winner once again, And we'll keep an eye on the Ramsey hairpin. I can tell you where Andrew Farrell has made it there, the leader in the lightweight. Are we going to have the same two winners that we had on Wednesday, doubling up their total number of Manx Grand Prix wins? But I can see Darrell Tweed is making his way towards the winners' enclosure. But Chris Kinley is not there, of course. We're going to have to catch up with both classes because we've got to keep an eye on the lightweight. So why not? Let's go to Ramsey Hairpin and see the leaders, or the leader, through there.
He's already been through Blink and you will miss him, but Gary Vines is chasing him down every step of the way, and he's cut that lead to 4.44 seconds now. It was 4.5 seconds at Belaf Bridge, but that has been cut, so Gary Vines will be giving everything to try and unseat Andrew Farrell as the leader of this race, but that all came about after James Chalk retired. Heartbreak for James Chalk. This race has had everything. It was quite a contest for, well, Andrew Farrell, Gary Vines and Dave Butler all in the mix for the other two positions on the podium. Everyone thought that James Chalk was going to win that hands down very, very comfortably as we get a couple more bikes through here, and that is Dave Butler and David Lumsden. Andrew Farrell already through here by the time you got to me, Tim, but Gary Vines is in second place, 4.44 seconds down. Dave Butler currently occupying third place. He's a further 2 seconds down on Gary Vines, and David Lumsden 24 seconds behind Dave Butler. But a cracking race on our hands because Andrew Farrell, he assumed the lead after the retirement of James Chalk.
Give you the top three in the ultra lightweight here at the grandstand, because of course they have finished. 59 Darrell Tweed has won it by 29.5 seconds for number 65 Tom Snow, and in third place it appears to be number 66 Andrew Cowie, the local Ramsey man, 7.2 seconds down on Snow. Back to you at Ramsey Hairpin, Chris Cave.
Just the four through. Farrell, Vines, Butler, Lumsden is the order here as we await more bikes, and the fans haven't been let down today, have they? A half an hour delay to racing, but it was worth it. The conditions are perfect. Chalk was leading by around 45 seconds and then retired, and Andrew Farrell has assumed that lead, and he's on course now. If he can remain in this race, if he's not threatened, he's being pushed all the way by Gary Vines, who's cut that lead at the hairpin to 4.44 seconds, and he'll be giving every sinew of energy. He'll be giving it his all. Is there another twist in the tail here in the final lap of the first race of the final day of racing in the lightweight race? We've seen Darrell Tweed already ride to victory. Very, very comfortable for him. He looked absolutely fantastic as he was going round the bend here at Ramsey Hairpin, past the commentary point here. And Andrew Farrell is leading in the lightweight class, and he will be hoping to be the winner of this race. He currently leads Gary Vines 4.44 seconds ahead of Vines is Andrew Farrell, so there's not too much in it. He can't afford to ease up and rest on his laurels because he knows that Gary Vines is breathing down his neck. He's knocking at the door. What can Gary Vines produce in the remainder of this race as he chases down Andrew Farrell? Number 4 coming into view now. Number 4 is Brad Vickers. And Gareth Evans, number 6. He's 2 minutes 10 seconds down on David Lumsden. Gareth Evans is actually in 5th place. So we've had 6 through here. Andrew Farrell is leading. Gary Vines is in 2nd. Dave Butler making up the top 3. Only 2 seconds between Butler and Vines. So maybe Butler could, well, he still has time left in this race. But time is running out, and Andrew Farrell, if he continues at the pace he's going at, he will be the winner of this lightweight race. So Farrell, Vines, Butler is the top 3. Lumsden is 24 seconds behind in 4th place, then Gareth Evans and Brad Vickers in 5th and 6th respectively, but they're the only bikes we've had through at the hairpin so far. They have made the bungalow though, and Andrew Farrell has stretched his lead to more than 5 seconds now. So Andrew Farrell could be on course to win this lightweight race. He had success on Wednesday. It didn't look too good for him on the 3rd lap because he was trailing in the wake of James Chalk, but after Chalk's retirement, Andrew Farrell hasn't looked back. I wonder if he knows that James Chalk has retired. Well, I can tell you it doesn't really make a blind bit of difference because he leads Gary Vines at the bungalow by 5.2 seconds. So Farrell has made the bungalow, so has Gary Vines. They're number 2 and 3, their bikes respectively, as we await more bikes to come round this iconic milestone here at the hairpin, past the commentary commentary point. The fans have already seen Andrew Farrell, Gary Vines, Dave Butler, the leading three on the track. They've seen them through, and they have made the bungalow now. Farrell leading 5.2 seconds ahead of Gary Vines. Dave Butler still in second place, still only a couple of seconds behind Gary Vines. That gap has itself extended, so Gary Vines, he's not guaranteed second place by any stretch of the imagination. He could push and try and pip Andrew Farrell to the post, but time is running out. Andrew Farrell will have waited a long time for this moment, but his team may not have to wait much longer to claim victory in this lightweight race 2. Back to the grandstand.
Visit Quayside Tyres' new state-of-the-art facility on South Quay for servicing and repair. With the latest dealer-level diagnostics and trained technicians, your vehicle is in good hands. Quayside are the island's biggest alloy wheel dealer. Spread the cost with one of our finance packages, subject to status. We're driven to perform with Toyo Tyres, the island's exclusive platinum partner. Make your car the star. Quayside Tyre and Service, South Quay.
South Quay Douglas, don't delay, have safer tyres today. Quayside.
Would owners of domestic animals and livestock adjoining the TT course please ensure that they are secure during the practice and race periods?
Manx Radio TT.
And we're looking for the lights to come on at Cronknamona at the end of an absolute crackerjack of the Manx Grand Prix Supporters Club Lightweight Race 2. We've already had the finish of the ultra lightweight and a great victory, a double victory now for Daryl Tweed. We'll have Chris Kinley with all the reaction at the tail end of this lightweight race. And as Chris was saying at the bungalow, Andrew Farrell, well, forget the bungalow, Gary Vines is now already indicated at Cronknamona. Andrew Farrell has missed Cronknamona on a couple of occasions, so lap 1 and 3 didn't register there, so we won't build up any undue drama here, but has he made it? We don't know. Has he made it to Cronknamona? I suspect he has. I suspect we're going to see him come on to Glen Crutchley Road, but, well, we can't call anything until we actually see them cross that finish line where the checkered flag is being readied, and it should be readied for number 2. And it is Andrew Farrell. So get ready, they'll be singing in the Skerries away in Ireland. A double victory coming up for your man from the Skerries. It is Andrew Farrell who takes victory in the race 2 of the Manx Grand Prix Supporters Club Lightweight. Fantastic victory for him. Dave Butler, I can tell you, is 1.9, just 2 seconds behind Vines, who finishes right now. Great performance there from Gary Vines. It was worth the longer pit stop to make sure he had enough to get to the end and not run out of juice up there on the mountain again. 6.3 seconds it is, the margin. And we'll confirm that in third place it's likely to be Dave Butler, who took the gamble. Has he got enough fuel to get here to the finish? We don't want to miss this reaction, though. They're going to be so happy on the Skerries there, Chris Kinley.
Certainly are. They're already here now. Here's Andy Farrell doing the double in the lightweight. Yeah! After that pit stop, when he must have thought, oh dear me, after overshooting his box and going on just a little bit, Gary Vines confirmed in that second place. 114.65 for Andy Farrell on the last lap as well. That's pretty quick. He's on a bit of a steep slope here. We'll let him get off the bike. A big hug for all the team. I think we just have, do we have Butler through? We do have Butler through at the moment through Cronknamona, and he's only 1.9 back off Gary Vine, so that could be quite tight. In fact, he's now finished him. Is that confirmed third for Butler?
It is confirmed third for Dave Butler, 2.5 seconds down on Vines. Back to you.
Thank you very much for that. Let's get in to speak to the man. Let us done the double here at the Manx Grand Prix with the lightweight race. And after that pit stop, when he overshot it, we must have thought the bow tie is going back on. That's brilliant to see. The bow tie is back on, looking as smart as ever. He looks absolutely, totally and utterly, what's the word we're looking for? Don't know if he could take all this in. Watch your back, guys. Davy Butler gets third. We'll just move out of Mark's way, so Mark will get the video of Davy Butler sideshow coming in. Oh, Davy Butler's at it as well. And we have the trademark shades. Sideshow, he gets third. But Andrew Farrell, after the pit stop, what a muck-up you made of that.
Yeah, well, to be honest, ran off the line. Poor Victor. Obviously, he had bike trouble earlier on. I was trying to help him out, get him going, and we thought he had him sorted. But when I took off, I could see him at the top of Bray Hill. And unfortunately, I caught him right at the bottom of Bray Hill and had to completely shut off. And I lost a lot of time. And I just said, right, look, don't worry about it. Just keep on hammering. It's a long race, you know. So tipping away, but the conditions up the mountain were very windy and it didn't really suit the bike, you know. It wasn't really pulling as well as it was the other night, or the other day. And I says, all right, just keep on going, keep plugging away. Try and be smooth and try and hit my markers. I made a couple of little mistakes, you know. And obviously came into the pits and I looked straight on and I think it was a Gary's crew or something that was out. And I says, oh, there they are, I'll go straight down. And the next thing he's, oh, Tom.
It was the same pit stop place you had the other day.
Ah, sure, come here, I have a head like a... You know what I mean? Yeah, so it's what it is, you know. A couple of hairy moments there on that last lap pushing on. You know, I couldn't believe I got a pip out off my uncle out P1. I said, what's that happening here?
Chalky went out.
Did he? Yeah. Oh, well, unfortunate. But I'm delighted, you know. Let's say a massive thanks to my sponsors again, you know, Ollie's Place. As I said before, he's been with me a long time now and he's put a lot into me, a lot of confidence into me and he's supported me all the way. You know what I mean? If you've ever gone to Skerries, get down to the Ollie's Place, get yourself a nice feed, a couple of points, slip in next door to the snug and a few late points. And it's like the Hotel California, you can't live, you know. But I'm really happy, you know, there's a lot of people back home. The support I got from winning the other day is unbelievable, you know, the messages, I can't reply to all of them, you know, the phone is going on meltdown, you know. Just so positive. It's been great, and like credit to the boys. Like I messed the pits up, and you know they done the best they could, got me out as quick as they could. You know, they never let me down. There's a lot of late nights. He's been slogging away. Now if you start crying again, he's some man for getting emotional. You know what I mean? He's all them tears out. You know, but coming into the nook, the next thing, she died. I went, oh, here we go. We're getting thirsty now. So I short shifted down to the nook and I said, how many seconds have I got here, you know?
6.
So that's all right. What's my last lap?
What's my last lap? 114.65 last lap.
What's that lap record? 1:14.8, is it?
Yeah, Chalky did 114.9.
Good man himself. Fair play to him. You know, he's been riding really well this week, you know. But as I say, I'm delighted, you know, this is just the icing on the cake. I came out and I said I'd do the best I could. If it was there, I'd go for it. If it wasn't there, I wasn't going to be hanging anything out, but you know, I was hoping to get a podium. I was getting P3, so that's all right, happy days. And then obviously the pits, and I was back down to P4, P5, something P5, and then a pit board. But just back into it, you know, and just got the head down and tried to hit me markers. As I said, I don't think the mountain really suited me with the wind the way it was. A couple of flags going onto the mountain mile, then she dropped out of gear as well, and that was an arse tightener. So it was. Yeah, a couple of pushing on, even Balacroy. I got the bike crossed up in the air, going over Balacroy. I says, oh, here, lad, come on, get it together now, just be smooth. And I'm here, I can't believe it.
Double Manx Grand Prix winning. Well done, Andrew.
Thanks very much, Chris.
Well done, guys. Well done, team. Excellent stuff. Let's get round to Gary Vines. We need to speak to the lightweight winners as of yet. Where's Vine? He's here. Gary, deep in conversation with Adam. Sorry, Adam, to jump in there. Well done, young man, after the disappointment the other day.
Yeah, it's still a bit of a disappointment, to be honest. I would have liked to have won that.
Went far away.
Where was what was it after the end of the second lap?
After the end of the second lap, let's have a little look. See if we can. I'm not sure I'll get it all up on here. The end of the second lap, you were back off Chalky by 15 seconds. He was leading. He obviously went out, and then the lap before that,
James didn't finish.
No, James didn't finish. He went out. He did 114.9. Andy Farrell won with 114.6. Your last lap, 114.2.
Oh, so I never went as quick as them anyway. No. They deserve it.
Yeah. Talk us through the race. The rest of it.
Don't know really. Usual ride round. Should have tried harder. Bike. I think the bike's a lot slower than it has been in the last few years, and I've just struggled with it all week. Normally, where I can make up time on that is sort of everywhere up to Ramsey, because I can keep a higher top speed. But and then I lose out climbing the mountain because the bike's not as powerful. But this year, it's been slower all the way to Ramsey in some places, so I've struggled. I've had to really ride a lot harder. I think I'm riding much better than I have done ever, but just maybe need a few more horsepower.
Well done, Gary.
Cheers, thank you.
Well done, guys. Cheers, thanks so much, Gary. Let's get over to Sideshow. Let's see how Davey B is. Des comes up, gives a big hug. Well, young man, the early pit stop caught us on the hop, but I kind of had an inkling, and then you made, I don't know how much fuel's left in there. I bet you daren't look.
Oh, yeah, but a clue either. So, there's about 23 litres left, and I think you only need 24, so it doesn't use much. Oh man, that was a great race. I gave that everything on that last lap with the empty tank, and I got Chalky, and he came out of pit lane, and we kind of stuck together. He kind of pulled about maybe 10 seconds on that third lap, and then I think he blew up or something on the way to Ballagary. I don't know, there was a puff of smoke there anyway, and I didn't see him, and it was a yellow flag.
Yeah, he's okay.
Yeah. But there was no... anyway, I got one board, John Griffin has a board out with the gooseneck, and it was -2 on the last lap, and I was like, right, that's it.
It's having it.
It got it now. I don't think... I nearly ended up in the hedge at Bedstead there the last lap, so I caught hammer, and it was just break that little bit, 6 inches too late, and I was cutting the grass anyway. But I gave it me all, and like, we had a nightmare for 2 weeks. This bike has been a bit torturous to us, but just like Alvin, Des, John were up with Slick yesterday, and they worked all day at the bike, and they turned around this morning. They just said, "You just jump on that and go." And I didn't know what to expect. I didn't know what was in it. I didn't know what. And the first lap, I just got a feel for everything. And then after that the pit stop, I recharged the batteries, and then 3 laps there. 2 flying laps were actually quite good. I really enjoyed them. So instead of just having one, like.
Your last lap, I can tell you, was 113.894 last lap.
That's not bad, is it?
That's all right. That'll do.
That'll do, yeah. Well, considering I've done 110, I think, on a scrapper on Wednesday. That's, yeah. I can't thank Alvin, Des, Kieran, Trish, Lorraine, John, and Slick. I'd say Slick's patience are well tamed with us. So thanks to him, and just thanks to everybody at home. And yeah, I can't believe this. And I just want to be honest, I just want to dedicate that to my granddad. Yeah. He died a couple of years ago, and he loved this place. So
good man. Well done.
Thanks very much.
Well done. Sideshow Bob. Good man. Where's Tweedy? Let's see if we can find Tweedy, see if Tweedy's still around. Oh, there he is. There's Darryl. Let's have a word with Darryl if we can. Darryl, just come down here. Darryl, my old chump. Let's grab a word with him if we can, our winner. Might have to do these on the fly. There's bikes moving around everywhere. Sorry you've had to wait a little bit, but we obviously... Mark, just keep moving this way because there's a bike coming up there. Sorry you've had to wait a little bit, but the double.
Happy with that. Hey,
talk us through the rest of it.
Just same as last time, just get out, get the head down and go for it really, and I knew the Moto 3s wouldn't have to pit, so I was trying to get as big a gap as possible before the third lap. So and then the third lap I got plus 13 through Black, and I knew they were coming. So they did, but
yeah, because I think that you were going off the line. You seemed to have a few problems on the left hand side.
I just couldn't get the gear, so I was having bother getting around the first there the whole race, like. But thank goodness there's only a couple of places you need it.
So the pit stop, the boys, some of the guys came in early. Obviously, Tom Snow didn't have to come in. That's the guy who was chasing you down, but your team did another good job in the pits.
Amazing job. Hey, absolutely brilliant for him. So it was. The team done a good job in the pits, and they done a good job at home getting the bike prepared for it.
Well done.
Thank you a lot.
Thanks, Darryl. Cheers. Thanks very much. And I don't know where Snowy is. Somewhere around. He's gone up there. Have they? Okay. Hang on a sec. Bike coming up. So just hang on a minute. We'll go up and do second and third, Tim, because obviously we've got the other 2 guys that we have to speak to before they do their pits. As number 40 comes in to complete the race. Thank you, Tubby. So we'll move on here just a little bit and speak to Andy Cowie. And if I remember rightly, Andy's one of the commissioners up there at Ramsey too. So in fact, is he the chair of the commissioners or the mayor of Ramsey or something like that? Anyway, yes, good man on himself, getting in out of there. He's been kind of doing a bit of riding up at Derby this year in the post classics. He's got one of them GPZ 600s that he has, and he's also got I think a little 400 that he runs up there too. I'll go over to Tom first if we can find Tom, but maybe Andy. No, I'll speak to Andy first because he's going to be the first one. Andrew, just a word up here. Seems strange suiting here. Well done, buddy.
Thank you very much. No, I really enjoyed that. It's a brilliant ride. Great fun. Bike was perfect. Team was spot on.
Talk us through the race, the rest of it. I mean, the boys are saying quite windy up on top.
It was very windy, yeah, but I've got a bit of extra weight to carry. Not a problem. Nice and stable.
How does this feel being on the podium at the Manx Grand Prix?
Surprising, to be fair.
Why surprising?
I wasn't expecting it, to be honest. Really, we're quite a small team. Neil Wood's bike, it's very quick and all that, and surprising.
And speechless for a change. Well done, Andy.
Thanks very much.
Cheers, thanks, buddy. Cheers, and we'll find Snowy wherever Snowy is somewhere. is Snowy? Ah, there he is. He's just over here. Yeah, we've got him. Yeah, we've found him. Yeah, we've found him. Don't worry. We've found him. Snowy, well done, mate.
Thank you very much, Chris.
Talk us through it.
Well, it was a start and a finish and a few laps in between, really.
Oh, that's it. We're done. Interview's done.
No, that was brilliant. That was brilliant. Right, really, really enjoyed it. Struggled a little bit just getting going to start off with. Made a bit of a mistake at the Nook on the second lap. Sorry, marshals. Yeah, just really, really enjoyed it. We've just lapped that little bike quicker than I've ever lapped on a little bike before by quite a way. And yeah, just really, really pleased. I just got to say a massive thank you to Colin and Phil at Falcon and this really Sedan. He's meant to be my teammate. Obviously, he's not well. Wish him all the very best.
I think everybody echoes that, don't they, as well? Non-pit stop strategy kind of helped a bit. You got it down to about 13 seconds, I think, at one point.
Yeah, definitely not having to stop makes a big difference. But I felt like I say, I started slow, but I just felt like every lap I just kept picking the pace up, and I think the times have shown that. So, yeah, we're chuffed to bits.
Well done, Tom. Congratulations.
Thank you, Chris. Cheers.
Cheers, buddy. There's the 1, 2, 3 in both classes, Tim.
Thanks very much indeed, Chris, and streaming as well on Facebook Live, thanks to the social media genius that is Mark Tiley down there. But we're now going to be having very shortly the podium for the Manx Grand Prix Supporters Club Ultra Lightweight Race 2, and finishing in 4th place was number 64 Alex Sinclair, 5th was number 60 Steve Moody, 6th 61 Mike Carter, 7th number 70 Bob Millenship, and 8th number 73 Derek Wilkie. The bikes are in front of the podium. I think it's just getting all the riders ready to go up. The scouts are ready as well. And I think they're just wanting to move the bikes around. There's a bit of faff going on down there. Let me give you a couple of condition updates while that's happening. Number 51, we're hearing Yoshihiro Kishimoto was off at Solby Bridge but is okay. And number 44, Paul O'Rourke, came off at the bungalow complaining of a hand injury and hip pain, and has been taken by AirMed to Nobles to be checked over. So 51 Kishimoto off at Solby Bridge but okay. 48 O'Rourke off at the bungalow, hand and hip pains, taken by AirMed to Nobles Hospital for further assessment. And well, we're going to have back-to-back podiums here, but they have got the bikes just in the wrong order at the moment.